When it comes to motorcycles, nothing exudes cool quite like a custom cruiser. Typically heavyweight beasts with high bars and forward foot pegs, riding in style is the name of the game here. Currently in 2022, there is a huge range of cruisers on offer, from giant luxury tourers to stylish outlaws, and now there are even a few lighter weight budget options to make them a bit more accessible too. You're back at BikeMatters with me, Meave, and I have tried to include something for everyone on this new list. But each motorcycle is a winner in its own right, so without further delay, here are 10 of the absolute best cruisers on offer in 2022. Kicking off the list today is a relative newcomer. Introduced in 2020, the beauty that is BMW's R18 features the largest engine they have ever produced. In fact, the R18's giant 1802cc boxer engine is the centerpiece of the bike's design, with its huge cylinders literally spilling out of the frame. When it comes to features, the R18 is a little more stripped down than BMW's usual offerings, but it does have an onboard computer with optional ride modes and keyless ignition. One unique feature of the R18 is its reverse gear. It's not essential, but it's definitely a nice quality when you are manoeuvring a motorcycle that weighs 345 kilos. The finish on this BMW is excellent, as you would expect, and it does add its own unique twist to the Fat Boy formula. Some extra cosmetic options were added last year as well, including a very special looking Galaxy Dust paint scheme. The BMW R18 starts at £16,990, so it definitely isn't for those with small budgets. But to say this thing is a head turner would be an understatement. You see why we had to include it on the list at number 10. Up next at number 9, despite first arriving in 2016, the XDiavel still looks like something from the future. A muscular street naked, somehow elongated to give it a cruiser style riding position, is definitely not for the traditionalists, but the Ducati still ticks many of the cruiser boxes, alongside class-leading agility and performance as well. As of 2021, that mighty engine is now fully Euro 5 compliant and has even had its power output up to 158 brake horsepower. When you combine this with the XDiavel's comparatively low weight of 221 kilograms, you end up with a seriously formidable street weapon, but one that has the ability to do some stylish low-speed cruising as well. In 2022, the XDiavel not only takes the number 9 spot, but also comes in 3 flavours and is fully loaded with cornering ABS, traction control, slipper clutch and ride modes. Following at number 8 and following on from the success of Honda's A2 friendly Rebel, we now have the beefier CMX 1100 Rebel, taking the same stripped down chopper styling and upping the power and performance. With that said, it's still one of the most accessible options on the list for a variety of reasons. Firstly, it's relatively lightweight at 223 kilos and combined with a low centre of gravity offers more agile handling than many of the other cruisers here. The Euro 5 parallel twin engine puts out 85 horsepower, which will provide plenty of go and fun factor while still being manageable for less experienced riders. Finally, the price is what puts it into the budget range when it comes to the cruisers. Starting at £9,099, you get an awful lot of bang for your buck here. This includes ABS, traction control, ride modes and an engine derived from the new Africa Twin. It takes the number 8 spot because it looks great, it's fun to ride and it won't break the bank. Next up at number 7, we have a bike that was given a fresh update at the tail end of last year. With a Euro 5 compliant engine that gives a small boost to its 77 brake horsepower output, along with a new seat to improve comfort on longer journeys, welcome Triumph's Bonneville Speedmaster. The Speedmaster uses the same base as the fantastic Bonneville Bobber, but it exchanges the aggressive outlaw styling for a more laid back and refined cruiser vibe that can also support a pillion. The Speedmaster is a perfect example of what Triumph do best, creating classic, vintage-looking motorcycles that still offer cutting-edge technology and performance. The liquid-cooled 1200cc parallel twin engine provides a generous 106 Nm of torque, peaking at 4,000 RPM. All of Triumph's usual spec is here too, with ride-by-wire throttle technology, the familiar road and rain modes, ABS and traction control, plus Showa forks and Brembo brakes. With a 10,000 mile service interval, Triumph are very confident in the build and reliability of the Bonneville, and the $12,450 starting price is very competitive when compared to its nearest rivals. It's a very serious contender for anyone in the market for a cruiser in 2022. Another great accessible option here from Kawasaki. The Vulcan S has its own unique styling and offers a decent 60 brake horsepower performance that is perfect for newcomers. The Vulcan S is another relatively lightweight option at 229 kilos with a full tank, making it easier to manoeuvre and more agile than some of the bulkier cruisers on this list. The curvy visual design gives it a slightly futuristic look, and it comes in black, black and green, or a new for 2022 red colour scheme that all looks great. There isn't much in the way of rider aids or fancy tech, but that's reflected in its price. Starting at £6,949, this is one of the most affordable cruisers on the market and why it's ranked at number 6 today. We've hit the halfway point, and before we carry on, I've got a little secret to let you in on. For all BikeMatters viewers, our partners Lexham Insurance are deducting £20 from any premiums completed through the link in the top right hand corner. All you need to do is click the link in the top right hand corner and away you go. If you like what we've done so far, remember to give us a thumbs up and don't forget to get subscribed. Now, like I said, we're halfway, so let's meet the final 5. Starting the final 5, this one is a bit more upright than a traditional cruiser, but the Moto Guzzi V9 bobber is oozing vintage Italian style and comes fully blacked out with a matte finish and that signature Moto Guzzi bulging engine. The standard version features the latest Euro 5 compliant air-cooled V-twin engine with a 65 brake horsepower output. This is the lightest motorcycle on the list, weighing in at just 210 kilos with a full tank, and comes with Brembo brakes, 2-channel ABS, traction control, and a sweet looking DRL headlight with the Mandello eagle at the front. It takes number 5 because it's such a great all-rounder and will suit anyone looking for a less extreme riding position or lovers of that vintage Italian motorcycle. At number 4, the Rocket 3R from Triumph is one formidable beast, packing the largest engine Triumph have ever produced and the highest torque of any current production motorcycle. The engine is a whopping 2,458cc inline 3-cylinder with 165 brake horsepower and a colossal 221 Nm peak torque at 4,000 RPM. Triumph say it pulls clean from low revs all the way to its 7,000 RPM redline and offers thrilling performance in any gear. I'm going to coin a new term here and call it a super cruiser. With giant performance and giant proportions, this is definitely one for the experienced hands and large wallets. The latest Rocket 3 weighs in at 291 kilos, which is actually a pretty big improvement on the previous iteration. Thanks to the new lighter frame and engine, Triumph has managed to shave off 40 kilos. It also comes with all the bells, whistles and gadgetry you might expect from a bike of this kind. With fully adjustable Showa suspension, cornering ABS and traction control, cruise control and a hydraulic torque assist clutch, just to name a few. The Triumph Rocket 3R does take the number 4 spot today, but it also does come at a cost, and that's £20,500. Geez, that's a lot of money. But it's Triumph, so we know it's definitely going to be worth it. The very first Indian Chief was produced a century ago now, and it's great to see this classic cruiser looking better than ever in 2022. In fact, the Chief has had quite an overhaul for its latest version, with a much more stripped down design that has also resulted in a nearly 50 kilo weight loss. At 291 kilograms, this is still a heavyweight cruiser, but it's now a little bit more manageable and has one of the most stylish finishes in the class. The Indian Chief Dark Horse uses an air-cooled V-twin with an impressive 162 Nm of torque at 3,200 RPM. Fully blacked out, this outlaw cruiser absolutely nails the classic look and manages to still pack in a bunch of modern tech. We have cruise control, ride modes and a touchscreen display with multimedia connectivity. Indian have done a great job of disguising all of this, with even the dash looking like a traditional circular dial. Starting at £16,195, this is one of Indian's most affordable offerings, and when it comes to authentic American cruisers, it doesn't get much better than this. That's why it had to be number 3 today. Still arguably one of the most iconic names in the game, Naturally, no cruiser list could be complete without a Harley Davidson. Similar to Indian, Harley have provided a stripped down and thoroughly classic looking design for their new Softail standard, and it works an absolute treat. It takes the silver medal today because of those visual looks. They speak for themselves. It's hard not to fall in love with this minimalist design, and customizers will see this as the perfect canvas. The Softail standard uses the smaller of Harley Davidson's Milwaukee 8 engine. This traditional air-cooled V-twin is still packing plenty of raw muscle. The max power output is 86 horsepower, which on a 291 kilogram machine means it isn't built for raw speed. But the 144 Nm of peak torque at 3,250 RPM gives it plenty of pull at the low end and excels at doing what it's designed to do, and that's cruising. When it comes to high-tech gadgets and rider aids, Harley have kept it pretty simple. There aren't any. For some people that might be a bonus, as it rides as traditionally as it looks, with only the mandatory ABS as its sole concession. The Softail standard is now the cheapest cruiser in Harley's lineup, coming in at £13,795. It isn't exactly budget, but if you are after that authentic Harley experience, this is the most affordable way to get it. But taking the title today is another Harley Davidson, and that's their Breakout. In 2022, the mighty Breakout has become one of Harley's flagship cruisers. Complete with its giant 21-inch front wheel and long body, this is a drag-style cruiser that exudes power and style. This time around, we get the larger Milwaukee 8 114 engine, which ups the size of the air-cooled V-twin while boosting the power to 94 brake horsepower and the torque to 155 Nm. Despite the increase in engine size, the Breakout is only 3 kilos heavier than the Softail standard, which will result in a noticeable performance increase. Harley made a big deal of the new lightweight frame used by all the Softail models in the range, which allows for better handling and lean angles than ever before. But this is still a bulky cruiser that isn't exactly made for tearing up twisty B roads. But then, you knew that already. This is a Harley in its purest form, with all the character and street cred that go with it. Once again, Harley have chosen to skip any non-essential rider aids or tech and kept things as traditional and basic as possible. What you get from that is a beautiful Harley Davidson motorcycle that will turn heads and put a smile on your face wherever you go. Starting at £20,895, this one is a little bit more expensive than most of its comparable rivals, with less features, but what can I say? It's a Harley, and that's why we had to give it the gold for the category today. Thanks for watching our top 10 cruisers video for 2022. What did you think? Which cruiser do you have your eye on? Let me know in the comments below now. You know the drill. Before you go, get subscribed if you're new here, and if you like what we do, give us a thumbs up. For now, I'll see you on the next one.